Last thought before we we continue is that I had this week was the thought of worrying. Just wanted to bring to your conscious mind what worrying is. Worrying is thinking negatively or the worst case scenario in the future. And I want you to know that's a choice. So you could literally think of the future in a positive manner, in the best case scenario. But instead, you're preparing for disappointments, as people say. So worrying is literally just imagination, misuse of imagination of thinking the worst case scenario in the future. So literally put it into perspective. Worrying is just thinking of the most worst case scenario in the future. And because it's imagination, you have complete control of what to imagine. So all you have to do is imagine the most positive situation in the future to attract the most positive reality and circumstances. You do not need to worry. Worrying is just thinking of the future in the worst case scenario. You put meanings, you choose what meanings to put to events. It's like the article with the interview that we spoke about last time of the two twins who were raised by an abusive father. And the interviewer asked one of the twins who turned out like the abusive father, the drunkard, not doing anything type of guy. And he's like, and she asked him, why did you turn out like this? And the twin was like, my dad was abusive. How could I not? Then she turned around and asked the other twin who was in who was in the Forbes list, who was wealthy, he was rich, he was doing, you know, he was balling, and asked, why did you turn out like this? And he was like, my father was abusive. How can I not turn out like this? I say this to say, same circumstance, you choose the meaning you put onto events. And because when you're worrying and you're having all those negative thoughts, everything is energy. You attract negative circumstances and events into your life. Your Rust system is now you end up attracting negative situations and you now like tell yourself, yeah, you see, yeah, this is for me, this is where I fall. So all you have to do, and I promise you, it sounds very simplistic, but if you actually take the time, is to just focus on the positive future, the positive outcome to get rid of worry. Um, I I helped. Okay, let me not say names. She was panicking. She was had anxiety. She was worrying, and I told her to write down everything she's thinking. Like she was worried for an exam. What is she thinking? Is she predicting herself failing? Is she predicting herself forgetting? Write all the emotions, what she's thinking on a piece of paper to be conscious about it. Then on the other side of the page, write the best possible outcome, like of what you think could happen. You passing, you excelling, you getting it right. Um, and then from now on, just keep looking at the page. You can say the what's written on the positive page as affirmations out loud, but just keep looking at it. Every time you think you're worried, just keep looking at the positive page and you start thinking about positivity things. Like it's like a snowball. First is a small thought, but if you keep on doing it, at it, the thought gets bigger, gets bigger, gets bigger until it becomes a belief system. And the simple fact that when you think positive thoughts, you attract circumstances and realities to your life of that nature. So yeah.
Like, I'm not sure whether it will be a question. Like, we're not talking about this thing of like worrying and then the effect of it. It happened a lot to me, I think, last year.
Yeah.
Um, because it happened, I'm on a bursary, but then now, the reason why it was happening, I had this thought that, like, what if I fail? What if I fail? Then the bursar will be
It will
like,
be
because
taken.
there is a minimum that, okay, you have to reach an average of 60%. So what if you don't reach that? And the reason why I had those like thoughts and worrying, it's because, like, for instance, first term, I dismally failed everything. And as for me, I had that mentality that I used to work hard back in high school.
Mm,
So I came to university with that mentality that I used to work hard, but then now, unknowingly, that things are different in here.
mm,
So you have to approach things differently.
really.
So now, this thing of worrying kept on, like, reaching it to a point where there was now even more thoughts of, like, killing myself, being a disappointment in my family, like, at my mom because I was raised by a single parent, which is my
Mm.
mother. So now if I fail, I know I just kill myself, what. I even went to the counseling, what. And then I just wanted some encouragement there on what to do and stuff and stuff. So this thing of worrying, it keeps on bothers me from time to time. Um, though sometimes now I think I've grown, I try as much as I can to avoid it by like saying to myself, though I'm not, let me not say I'm not a writing person,
Mm.
but then sometimes I try to like, no, let me relax a bit.
Mm.
Let me not pressure myself. If things happen, they will happen like automatically.
Mm.
So let me not worry myself about things that are not yet happened. So let me just like relax. But I think my weakness is not writing.
Mm.
I have been watching a lot of videos, psychology videos,
Mm.
motivational videos and stuff. And most of the time, the thing that they highlight is writing your goals, writing what bothers you, and then if it's not bothering you, then you stretch it out. So this thing of worrying, I'm still trying to overcome
Oh.
it because even now, I was like, ish, I'm doing second year, and then there's this thing, Comlo, people are failing left, right, and center. So there's that now worrying that, ish, what if I fail Comlo? That's the main like worrying that has been like destructive a bit. But then I try as much as I can to avoid it, but it keeps on popping
Mm.
from time to time. But I try not to avoid it. Like I try to avoid it as much as I can, though it keeps on like
Coming back.
coming back. But I think now, like what you were saying, that writing is very important. Um, I will take that note, like write it down, and then I will see what happens.
Truly appreciate you sharing your story, bro. So for me, right, I feel like I can 100% relate with you because I've been in the last class since I can remember. Like even grade seven, throughout high school, I was in the last class. Back home, we write this thing called O level. It's called ordinary level. Our class, only seven of us managed to get through, and I was just lucky enough. I only got my first distinction following this thing. Right now, I'm doing my master's, and I'm still top of the class. I'm saying this to say we go through habits, right? We go through habits. So the habits end up and the things you always come and see, you end up becoming a belief system. So you have a belief system right now. And bad thoughts attract bad thoughts and good thoughts attract good thoughts. That's why when you have the first bad thought, it leads to the next thought, which keeps getting worse and leads to the next thought, as you were saying. You can't remove darkness with darkness. The only way to remove darkness is to replace it with light. I don't know
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
yeah,
You can't reduce darkness. You can only replace it with light. It's in the exact same way. So I feel like with what I'm hearing from you, you are trying to stop, you recognize as worrying, and you're trying to stop worrying by not worrying.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes
yeah,
sense. Which is a different
Same
tone or
position.
degree of worrying. I don't know if that makes sense. So what you're trying to do is remove fear with courage. So what I would advise, forget about the 60% like minimum
yeah,
mark. Forget about the bursary minimum mark. Because those ideas are already attached to negative stimuli. What you should just now focus on is what you believe you can get. If you can believe you can get 70%, that should be on your goal book to get 70%. If you believe you can get 70%, there's no point of writing something that you can't believe. Like if you write 80%, you won't be able to believe it, so it won't work. So you have to write a figure that you can get yourself to believe or that you already believe. So if you can believe it's 70%, your focus and your goal should only be on 70%. Don't worry about the bursary, don't worry about the minimum mark, don't worry about moms. You're trying to get to 70%. Because your subconscious mind controls all your behavior. If you believe that you're gonna fail and whatnot, You end up sabotaging yourself, like snoozing the alarm clock when you tell yourself you're gonna wake up at 5, or procrastinating. You feels me? Have a clear goal. I want to get 70% for this particular steez.
Yeah.
Have a regiment. Have it written down in present tense. I will get 70% and whatnot. Then, if you can go through the day, kind of budgeting your time. What have I done today to make me achieve that goal? What have I done today to taking me steps towards that goal? If you're free, maybe this afternoon, cool, be free. You don't have to be a workaholic like other people, but borrow an hour of that time that you would normally chill. Chill for the other 3, 4 hours. I don't know. I don't know your timetable like that. Borrow an hour for the time. What can you do to get that 70%? That's that will solve your goal problem. Now, in terms of your belief problem, you're gonna have to do affirmations because there's no point of having a goal if you cannot believe or have confidence to see yourself getting there. So you have to have affirmations and have the intentions that you reprogram yourself for to be fire. So literally have the affirmation that I am so happy and so grateful that I've achieved 70%. I'm so happy and so you can do that 5 minutes every single morning. You're trying to reprogram yourself. And also you're trying to avoid thinking of worrying because when you think of worrying, you're giving out negative energy. That negative energy creates those negative reality circumstances. You understand? So just trying to keep happiness and gratefulness thoughts into your mind to create those circumstances and realities um, of success. I really believe if you put your percentage of that you're trying to get, account yourself in the day. What have I done? Because that adds on to the conviction when you're now really thinking like, how have I spent my time in the day to achieve this particular goal?
Yeah.
You feels me? And then do the affirmation things. I honestly think it'll go far. I don't know if that helps. Just always remember you can't remove darkness with darkness.
Yeah.
You can't remove worry with worry. You can't remove fear with fear. You have to remove fear with courage. It's called the universal law of polarity. We did for those who read the first book. There's just no other way about it. I couldn't remove lack of confidence with anything else besides confidence. So why I believe is the same reason why you can't remove the old programs. You can only remove with the new programs. I don't know if that makes sense. So just try, dude. Just I know if for someone new, this may sound gibberish, but just like give it a go. Just try what I'm saying. Try write it down. Try just go for it. And you realize the more you try and account for your day, and the more you look at your goal, your mind gives you new ideas of how to achieve it. Whether it's seeing your lectures every single week. I know someone who once asked me that a long time ago. It wasn't on a law of attraction basis, but I just advised them like, yo, go buy their lectures every week. Like, yo, what's good? And it actually helped them. So I'm saying there's no sense of hopelessness. There's a lot you can do. And then I'd also advise, and I don't know if you want to be
Econometrician.
okay. What else do you do? Econometrician. Okay, can I
Major in
use?
economics.
I'm not too familiar with that field, but can I use the example of lawyer?
Okay.
It'd be nice after your 70% goal. It'd be nice for you to have a long-term goal, um, like maybe 10 years time, of you being a banging lawyer, like best lawyer in law firm or type of thing. The reason why that helps is because if you keep focusing on this also, in order for you to achieve this, it means you would have to. So it's how I told you. I've been funded for since second year. I've gotten a scholarship since second year.
Yeah.
Every single year I've gotten. Like that should be impossible for the fact that I'm a foreigner in this particular country. There's no someone from UK keeps pay for some reason. Oh no, for law of attraction, not for some reason, because this is the path they chose. But for this particular year, right? Because I think also my brother was stepping out of school, I just had this now huge responsibility, or I now started thinking about, oh shit, like, and it's now my job to get a scholarship. Before then, it wasn't my job; it was the universe's job. You get, for some reason, I like mentally tripped myself to now make it my responsibility and all that type of stuff. And the year went, and for the first time, no one funded me. Mind you, they it should be easier to get funded when you're in master's level than second year level. Understand what I'm saying? But luckily, not lucky enough, I got a whole gig in my department that there's like sort of what's that thing. So for me, I honestly believe because my long-term goal of me getting a distinction in masters and walloping everyone, right? That attraction put everything else in place despite my minor um, doubts or worry about my scholarship. I don't know if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense
Yeah.
to Aaron. It's kind of like how
But
Napoleon
yeah, that's what I was
Hill
about to
is.
say that.
Yeah, it's exactly like that.
Mm.
Because for order for me to achieve this, the rest has to fall in place. So I'm saying that to say, imagine yourself as a banging lawyer, whatever you want in 10 years' time, and the 70% thing. And look at it every single day, and you'll be good. And a great exercise. Can't remember where I got this from, but and I'm pretty sure neurologists agree with this. Write a date on a piece of paper, right? Draw a stick figure. Write all your achievements that you've written on the left side. All your achievements. Write your current character. Flaws or positivity. Like for me here, I am ambitious. At this time, I was a huge procrastinator, and just I was socially awkward. And just write everything, like
Yeah.
everything you feel like, you know. Then on the other page, draw a stick figure and write all the achievements you're trying to accomplish, right? And then write the characters you would need to accomplish it. And look at this every single day. I promise you. Just trust.
That is my favorite.
Ray, shout out. Oh, so I'm not even the author. I forget where I got
Like,
this from,
you're
but
not
I
the
promise
author,
you.
Yeah.
whatever. This is not some magical thing.
It's a
Like,
process.
yeah, it's a process. You keep repeating the affirmations. You build those new beliefs about yourself,
Yeah.
and you're going to encounter setbacks. You're going to encounter failure and stuff like that. Which is what we were talking about last week. That adversity. That's when you know you need to press in more and go
Mm.
further because you're seeing that okay. So there's some sort of like a big something coming up, you know, things start get, you know, not going right as you expect. So just don't give up then and think, oh no, this thing is not
Yeah.
working anymore. Just keep on going and focusing on what he said, your overall 10-year goal, like your major goal. If you keep your eyes set on that, then whatever happens, you know, your other problems will sort of like become small and they fall off because you know you are going to get what you want, what
Yeah.
you demand from life. And I think in the Napoleon book, the book that we read last week, it said, um, don't, like when you pray or when you ask from life, don't what's the word?
Big.
Yeah, don't beg. Like you demand. You know how people say
Mm.
when life gives you lemons, make
Make it.
lemonade. Like, you know, this is the card that you are dealt, so you have to play in a certain way. You can say no, I don't want this. And the only way to say you don't want this is to, like, in your head, in your thoughts, say no to the alternatives. If life offers you a 69%, say no, I'm not settling for the 69. I said I want a 70, and make sure you get that 70. Like, do not accept anything other than what you have set for yourself, no matter what happens. So when you start thinking in that way and your beliefs change, your behavior starts changing. Automatically, you're that person who rises up at 5 a.m. and starts
And
working.
starts
You're that
working, yeah.
person who listens attentively to the lectures.
You
You're
can
that
now
person
pay
who
attention.